Ever had that feeling? You're stuck on some task. Maybe it's something tedious you do daily, or a project just dragging its feet.
Oh, definitely.
And you just wish, like, poof, it could be handled effortlessly.
Yeah.
Think about those things you'd love to just offload. Meal planning, maybe, or
Mm.
even figuring out a complex work strategy.
Yeah, the mental grunt work, as you say.
Exactly. Well, today we're diving deep into something that might just do that. We're calling them mind twisters, specifically AI agents.
And it's fascinating, isn't it, how quickly these ideas, things that felt like sci-fi, are becoming, well, actual tools we can potentially use.
Absolutely. My whole view on this shifted quite a bit after listening to that Diary of a CEO conversation, the one with Amjad Masad from Replit
Yeah.
and Brett Weinstein, Dan Murray Surter, too.
Oh, yeah, that was a really interesting discussion.
It was eye-opening. So in this Mind Twister deep dive, crafted especially for you listening, we're unpacking what these AI agents really are and the huge impact they might have, all based on what those experts were hashing out.
Right. We've got a really compelling mix of ideas here, pulled from the transcript of that quite dynamic debate they had.
Dynamic is a good word for it.
Yeah. And our mission today is really to look past the hype,
Yeah.
to grasp the fundamental change these agents could bring, and also to explore the, frankly, quite contrasting views on whether this change leads to, like, a utopia or something else entirely.
Okay, let's get right into it then. These mind twisters. What actually makes an AI agent different from, say, ChatGPT, which is what most people probably think of as AI right now?
Yeah, that's a really crucial distinction. Think of chatbots like ChatGPT as mostly reactive. You give them a prompt, they give you a response. End of interaction, basically.
Request response. Got it.
Exactly. AI agents, though, they're designed to be proactive. You give them a goal, and then they work towards it on their own, maybe for a long time, without you needing to constantly nudge them.
Okay, working independently towards a goal. That sounds like a big leap in autonomy.
It is. And a huge part of that is their ability to use tools, access and use them.
Tools. Like
Huh?
what?
Well, current chatbots might do a quick web search, maybe a calculation, but agents, they can use a whole toolkit. We saw that example, operator, ordering water from CVS.
Oh, yeah, the water ordering.
Right. No human involved after the initial request. They can also interact with, say, programming environments, like that Replit example.
Ah, yes. The sauce company.
Exactly. Someone with zero coding knowledge builds a functional sauce company in minutes. And crucially, they can even use financial tools, like using a credit card to actually buy that water.
Wow. That Replit story, it really sticks with you. Building a working platform, Stripe, AI, Google login, all without coding. In minutes. That just screams paradigm shift, doesn't it?
It really does.
And the operator thing, ordering water. It felt, like the host said, almost supernatural.
And those examples, they just hint at the potential, right? The experts on the show pointed to some pretty startling trends, too, looking at Google search data for AI agents and Replit's own revenue growth that suggests this exponential curve.
Exponential how?
The runtime, basically how long an agent can work effectively on a task, seems to be doubling roughly every 7 months.
7 months, doubling. That kind of speed is just hard to wrap your head around.
It is. And apparently, OpenAI's newer model, it achieved double the coherence, basically, staying on track for longer tasks in just 3 or 4 months.
Whoa.
So this isn't slow, steady progress. It's a surge, a real surge.
Okay, so this rapid surge seems to be creating this real fork in the road. When people think about the future, you've got the optimists seeing an AI utopia, and then the others more cautious, maybe even seeing a dystopia. Let's look at the bright side first. What's the case for a positive future with these mind twisters?
Well, the core of the optimistic view, and Amjad Masad really championed this, is that AI is this incredibly powerful tool for creating wealth, sure, but also for tackling huge problems. Think healthcare, education, massive global challenges. The idea is it democratizes opportunity. Suddenly, anyone with a good idea, regardless of their coding skills or deep pockets, they might actually be able to build it, scale it, fast.
Right, so it kind of levels the playing field for innovation, turns anyone with a vision into a potential builder.
That's the core vision, yeah. And the optimists, they do acknowledge the limits right now. Today's AI learns from human data, right, from what we've already done.
Okay.
So while it can simulate intelligence incredibly well, its ability to be truly creative or solve problems in situations completely outside its training data, that's still developing.
So it's more about applying existing knowledge super effectively.
For now, largely yes. But we also heard concrete examples of AI already having a positive impact, like in M&A deals, mergers and acquisitions,
Oh, so?
handling things like transcription, sifting through legal documents, tedious stuff that costs a lot of time and money. AI streamlines it, saves costs, makes it more efficient.
Right, making existing processes faster and cheaper. That makes sense.
And there's this other intriguing idea. Could AI actually help raise global IQ and maybe even EQ, emotional intelligence?
How would that work?
Imagine using AI tools to, say, help you draft emails or practice difficult conversations, refining how we communicate, potentially making us more articulate, maybe even more empathetic.
Interesting.
The optimistic picture, as Amjad put it, is humans in the creative seat. We're the conductors directing these swarms of intelligent agents to build whatever we can imagine.
An empowering image.
Yeah.
Humans directing the AI orchestra.
Oh.
But, okay, then there's the other side, the cautionary view. What are the big worries there?
Brett Weinstein brought a really interesting angle from complex systems theory. He argued we're crossing a threshold, we're moving beyond systems that are just complicated, like a watch, lots of parts, but ultimately predictable, into systems that are truly complex.
Complex meaning? Unpredictable.
Exactly. Inherently unpredictable. Even if we understand each individual agent, how they interact together, especially as they get more sophisticated, that could lead to emergent behaviors, things we just didn't anticipate and can't easily control.
So the whole could be dangerously different from the sum of its parts.
Precisely. And Dan Murray Serter's analogy, that really hit home for me, horses in 1900.
Right. Indispensable then.
Totally. But they had zero clue the car was coming, right? That their entire role in society was about to vanish. His question was, are many of us like those horses now? Feeling secure, but maybe on the edge of being displaced by these AI mind twisters?
Oof. That's it. Yeah, that makes you pause.
And the caution isn't just about job displacement. It's heavily focused on the danger of autonomous action. If these agents are pursuing goals we haven't defined perfectly, or goals where we don't fully grasp the long-term consequences, things could go wrong, badly wrong.
Like the paperclip example.
Exactly, the classic paperclip maximizer. An AI told simply, make as many paperclips as possible. In theory, it could decide the best way is to turn everything on Earth, including us, into paperclips. It achieves the goal, but ignores every other value we hold dear.
Okay, that really drives home the alignment problem, making sure their goals match ours.
Critically important. And Brett also pointed out something else. We don't have the mythology for this. We have stories, cautionary tales about the dangers of unchecked ambition or the societal shifts from industrialization. But for something like AI agents, this level of autonomous intelligence, it's unprecedented. We lack those guiding narratives.
No historical warnings to draw on.
Right. And then there's the potential for abuse. That's a huge concern. Bad actors, individuals, companies, governments using these tools for super targeted scams, deep fakes we can't detect, maybe even autonomous weapons.
The idea of personalized scams, AI crafting the perfect con just for you based on your data.
Yeah.
That's genuinely terrifying.
It is. And the economic fallout is another major worry for the cautious camp. We could see widespread job losses for roles needing sort of median-level intelligence.
Creating what, like a huge pool of AI workers that are super skilled but cost almost nothing.
Essentially, yeah. A new continent of cheap, skilled labor, but it's AI. And this could massively increase inequality. Imagine those 1,000x entrepreneurs Amjad mentioned, leveraging armies of AI agents. The gap between them and everyone else could become enormous.
So the democratization dream could actually backfire into greater disparity.
That's the fear. The analogy used was a marathon race, where AI is like both a super drug for some runners and a constant distraction for others. The results spread out dramatically.
Okay, let's dig into that specific point, job displacement. Seems like all the experts agreed this is real and coming soon.
Yeah, there was broad agreement on that. Routine, predictable jobs, especially those done on a computer, very likely to be automated maybe in the next couple of years. Think quality assurance testing, data entry, that kind of thing.
Were specific professions mentioned? Beyond QA and data entry?
Yeah. They touched on accountants, maybe even radiologists analyzing MRI scans, graphic designers, video editors, roles involving processing information and creating somewhat predictable outputs, particularly digital ones.
Oh, quite a range.
And they also raised the point that this could hit certain demographics harder. Women, people with only a high school diploma because of the types of jobs they currently hold in large numbers, and entire industries like business process outsourcing, BPO, could face massive disruption.
So jobs disappear. But did they talk about new jobs appearing? Any new industries, maybe?
Amjad suggested one, an industry focused purely on training AI. As agents get more complex, we'll need people to feed them the right data, fine-tune them, make sure they're, ethical and aligned.
Teaching the AI.
Kind of, yeah. And there's also this idea of high agency people thriving. Those individuals who are really good at identifying problems, setting goals for AI, and managing these agent teams effectively. Initiative becomes key.
So managing the AI becomes the skill, being the coordinator.
Exactly. But Brett threw in a paradox here. What if the AI gets so good at predicting our needs, fulfilling them before we even ask, that it actually reduces our own sense of agency, our drive to act?
Huh. That's a real mind twister, isn't it?
Hmm.
The tools meant to empower us might make us passive, which leads straight into the bigger societal questions. If work changes dramatically, if AI generates wealth, what happens to our sense of purpose, meaning?
Yeah, that crisis of meaning idea definitely came up. If you have abundance, if traditional work isn't needed for survival for many, what gives life meaning? What provides that sense of value of contributing?
Big questions.
Huge. And concerns about increased loneliness, less real human connection, possibly made worse by AI and, immersive VR worlds becoming more compelling than reality for some.
Right, the tech designed to connect could isolate. It's ironic.
And Brett's concept of hyper-novelty, the sheer speed of change is already overwhelming our ability to adapt socially and individually.
Yeah.
AI could hit the accelerator on that.
Making it even harder to keep up.
Which led to a discussion about education. How do we prepare kids for that world? The consensus seemed to lean towards adaptable general skills, understanding complex systems, critical thinking, less focus on specific knowledge that might be obsolete quickly.
Learning how to learn, basically, and adapt.
Precisely. Now, AI could help here, too. Imagine personalized one-on-one AI tutors for every child. That could be revolutionary for education.
It's a potential positive.
Definitely. But there's also the risk of what they called a high-velocity economy. Careers might become much shorter. Constant disruption makes it hard to build a stable professional identity.
Feels unstable.
It could be. They also touched briefly on open source AI versus proprietary models like OpenAI stuff, and the huge challenge of regulating all this globally, especially with competition between, say, the US and China.
Regulation seems almost impossible to speed.
It's incredibly difficult. And then the really startling idea came up, universal basic income, UBI. Not as a socialist dream, but as a potential necessity if job displacement becomes truly widespread.
Wow. Just to cope.
That was the implication. Though there were differing views on whether UBI alone could address that human need for purpose, for feeling useful. And we're already seeing companies, like Klarna, using AI to significantly reduce their workforce needs. It's not theoretical.
It's happening now. Okay, this brings us to the really dark stuff. The potential for misuse, the abuse of this power. The experts didn't shy away from that.
No, they didn't. The potential for harm is vast. Individuals using AI for scams, corporations for manipulation, governments for surveillance, or autonomous weapons, spreading misinformation at scale.
Brett had those 5 threats, right?
Yeah, his 5 key threats. Let's see. Malevolent AI, like Skynet, he was actually least worried about that one. Misaligned AI, the sorcerer's apprentice problem, AI doing harm unintentionally while pursuing its goal.
Okay.
Then the derangement of human intellect through floods of disinformation, erosion of trust where bad actors just shrink the whole pie for everyone. And finally, AI accelerating demographic shifts or resource competition, potentially leading to conflict.
The disinformation one feels very current. How do you know it's real anymore?
Exactly. That challenge of discerning truth. It's a massive threat to how society functions. And autonomous weapons, the ethical nightmare there is obvious. Huge potential for escalation and misuse.
It's incredibly sobering.
And there was also talk of the risk of people just retreating, checking out of the real world into perfectly tailored virtual ones, leading to, solipsism, a loss of connection to shared reality. The Fermi paradox even came up.
The Fermi paradox. Where are all the aliens?
Right. The unsettling idea being maybe advanced civilizations tend to invent technologies that are so engaging, so satisfying, that they just stop exploring, stop striving. They get lost in their own virtual navels, effectively self-limiting.
Whoa, that's a chilling thought. Technology-induced stagnation on a civilizational scale.
It is a stark reminder that even amazing tools can have deeply negative, unintended consequences. But, okay, amidst all this caution, all these potential downsides, were there reasons for hope? Actionable things for us, for you listening?
Please say yes.
Yes, absolutely. The potential for AI to solve those massive global problems, healthcare breakthroughs, personalized education for everyone, That remains a huge source of hope
Okay.
and the opportunity for individuals. Using AI as this incredible leverage, starting businesses, creating things, even without deep technical skills. We saw that with the Replit examples. That democratization potential is real.
So it's a powerful tool if we choose to wield it creatively.
Exactly. The key takeaway seemed to be the absolute necessity of lifelong learning, adaptability, becoming what they called high-agency generalists.
Same.
People who are proactive, self-directed, curious, with a broad skill set, able to learn quickly and manage these AI tools effectively, not just narrow specialists, and understanding the difference between creating with AI and just passively consuming what it generates. That's crucial.
Be the creator, not just the consumer.
Right, and maybe this whole technological upheaval is an opportunity, a chance to fundamentally rethink our societal values, our structures. Maybe technology could even enable more localized, community-focused ways of living, paradoxically.
Okay. So wrapping this up, this deep dive into AI agents, these complex mind twisters, it paints a picture that's, well, incredibly complex, multifaceted.
Definitely not simple.
No, it feels clear this isn't just the next gadget. It's a fundamental shift, like agriculture or writing or electricity, as one of the experts put it, transformative on that scale.
It really feels like a pivotal moment in history, packed with both, immense opportunity and really significant risks. The conversation laid out that whole spectrum of possible futures, utopia to dystopia, and everything in between.
So if you're listening, you might be feeling excited, maybe a bit worried, probably a mix of both. And that makes total sense. It really pushes us, doesn't it, to think hard about our own skills. How do we adapt? How do you adapt to a world increasingly shaped by these agents?
And we really encourage you to dig deeper if this sparked your interest. Check out the original Diary of a CEO episode, look into AI ethics research, explore the debates around UBI, maybe even the Fermi paradox. There's a lot there.
Absolutely. And maybe here's one final mind twister to chew on. In a world where AI can handle more and more routine tasks, maybe even generate wealth, what truly defines human value? What gives us purpose? And maybe more importantly, how will you go about cultivating that in your own life?